Florida often appears as a tropical sanctuary, yet behind the shimmering coastlines and palm-shaded boulevards, a quiet catastrophe is manifesting. It is a crisis most homeowners failed to predict. Beneath the surface of those postcard-perfect vistas, the real estate market has entered a punishing correction, with data revealing far more volatility than mainstream headlines care to admit. In several previously booming metropolitan areas, valuations have plummeted 7 to 12% from their all-time highs. Inventory levels have effectively doubled. Desperate sellers are slashing $20,000 to $40,000 off asking prices simply to entice qualified buyers through the door. Meanwhile, insurance premiums and property tax assessments are escalating so aggressively that even households with six-figure incomes are suffocating under the weight. This isn't the explosive cinematic crash many expected. It is something far more insidious. It is a steady, relentless erosion of home equity occurring neighborhood by neighborhood. Tonight, we dissect the 10 Florida cities where this economic pressure is intensifying most rapidly. The top 10 cities facing the correction. 10. Cape Coral. Visualize endless canal systems lined with sun-bleached for sale signs, boats moored to desolate docks, and waterfront estates sitting stagnant for months. Cape Coral was once marketed as the ultimate coastal bargain, a sanctuary where you could own a private dock and enjoy golf access while remaining within a modest budget. Now, families are confronting the grim reality that their property value peaked 2 years ago. Typical prices have retreated 8 to 11% from their pandemic-era zenith. A residence that once commanded the low $400,000 is now struggling to clear the mid-$360,000. That represents $40,000 to $50,000 in evaporated equity, yet mortgage balances remain unchanged. Listings have surged as days on the market stretch from weeks into grueling months. Price reductions are now the standard. For a middle-class family earning $80,000 to $90,000, the math is devastating. You purchased near the peak, believing waterfront assets were bulletproof. Your monthly obligation remains $2,500 to $3,000 once taxes are factored in, but your home is now worth less than the underlying debt. Every insurance renewal brings a fresh spike in costs, while the legacy of recent hurricanes haunts every negotiation. Refinancing is impossible when you are underwater, and selling means finalizing a massive loss. The waterfront dream has transformed into a financial anchor. 9. Northport. Northport once lured retirees and young families with the pledge of affordable living near the Gulf. Today, it stands as one of Florida's most rapidly cooling environments. While neighboring Sarasota has dipped a mere 3 to 4%, Northport valuations have cratered 10 to 12%. Homes that recently fetched $400,000 are now closing near $345,000, a $55,000 loss in just 18 months. The financial strangulation doesn't stop at the purchase price. Insurance now averages $6,500 to $7,500 annually, roughly 40% higher than Port Charlotte and nearly triple the national average. HOA fees have spiked 35% as associations scramble to repair aging infrastructure. Property taxes have climbed 22% despite the falling valuations. Homes now languish 140 days on the market, significantly longer than Sarasota's average. Families are discounting $35,000 off their asking prices only to meet total silence. Monthly housing costs hovering around $3,790 are draining bank accounts, while values continue to shed $2,000 every quarter. For a household earning $92,000, the trap is locked tight. Stay and bleed capital slowly, or exit now and absorb a life-altering financial blow. 8. Deltona. Beyond the artificial glow of Orlando's theme parks, Deltona is enduring one of Central Florida's harshest corrections. What began as a mild softening has intensified into a 9 to 11% slide. Median prices have tumbled from $365,000 to roughly $330,000. That's $35,000 in wealth simply gone. For 2 years, properties here have lost roughly $3,000 in value every single quarter. Unlike other Orlando satellites, Deltona shows no evidence of a floor. Inventory has ballooned to 2,400 active listings. Houses that previously sold in 30 days now require 4 months to move. Certain sectors show a 10-month supply, placing them deep within correction territory. Buyers earning the local median income of $78,000 are facing extreme anxiety. A home bought for $360,000 now sells for $325,000, leaving owners with zero equity. Mortgage payments sit at $2,420, while comparable rental rates have fallen to $1,750 as landlords compete for a shrinking tenant pool. Neighborhoods are cluttered with signage, and price cuts are implemented within weeks of listing. Even those offering $8,000 in credits see no activity. This is no temporary lull. It is a grinding, long-term correction. 7. Punta Gorda. Envision Punta Gorda's historic center, where Charlotte Harbor meets the horizon and sailboats drift peacefully. This was supposed to be the sensible alternative to Naples, golf course living without the luxury price tag. However, the correction arrived with startling speed. Prices peaked at $385,000 in 2022, driven by remote workers. Within 24 months, the median fell to $340,000, an abrupt 11% decline that eviscerated $45,000 in equity for those who bought at the top. This represents the sharpest sustained downturn since the 2008 collapse. Inventory metrics paint an even bleaker picture. Listings doubled from 1,100 to over 2,400, sparking fierce desperation among sellers. Homes that once moved in a month now sit for 110 days. Massive price cuts are now mandatory to secure a closing. A typical healthcare household earning $95,000 that bought with a minimal down payment is now $35,000 underwater. Their insurance has doubled to $5,800 annually, pushing monthly costs to $3,455. In this hurricane zone, the financial squeeze is unrelenting. 6. Ocala. Ocala was once the quintessential retirement haven, inland, peaceful, and shielded from storm surges. But retirees on fixed incomes are now meeting a harsh fiscal reality. In 2021, Ocala was a legitimate bargain with $250,000 median prices. By early 2023, that figure skyrocketed to $385,000, a 55% surge in 2 years. Then the floor dropped. Within 18 months, prices corrected back to $345,000, wiping out 2 years of appreciation instantly. The true agony stems from exploding carrying costs. Insurance has climbed from $2,000 to over $6,000 annually. HOA fees in senior communities have spiked 45% due to aging facilities. Taxes jumped 32% as the county struggled with growth. For a retired couple surviving on $58,000, their shift is catastrophic. Their manageable mortgage has been eclipsed by $440 a month in insurance and $300 in HOA fees. Total housing costs now consume 60% of their total income. They are depleting their life savings just to keep the lights on. Travel is canceled. Helping grandchildren with tuition is no longer an option. Their retirement dream is systematically collapsing. 5. Clearwater. Clearwater Beach still attracts tourists with its pristine sands, but the residents powering that industry are drowning in costs. Prices peaked at $440,000 and have since corrected to $380,000, a 12% drop that vaporized $60,000 in equity. Working-class inland neighborhoods saw even steeper 13% declines. Price per square foot fell from $225 to $185, signaling that local buyers can no longer compete. Carrying costs are punitive. Insurance fluctuates between $8,500 and $10,500, with flood coverage adding another $2,000. HOA fees have surged 45% as coastal structures face mandatory expensive repairs. A typical service industry couple earning $97,000 jointly bought for $430,000. Their home is now worth $380,000. Monthly costs have ballooned to $4,355, nearly 80% of their take-home pay. They work in a vacation paradise they can no longer afford to inhabit, spending every cent they earn to maintain a depreciating asset. 4. Fort Myers. Fort Myers is currently enduring one of the most profound setbacks in the state. A 14% drop marks the sharpest decline since the Great Recession. Behind the picturesque Gulf views, thousands of families are in acute distress. Prices fell from $440,000 to $380,000, but the primary catalyst is insurance. Hurricane Ian fundamentally broke this market. Premiums have tripled, with many paying $9,500 yearly. Condo owners are being hammered with special assessments ranging from $12,000 to $40,000. A family that purchased in early 2023 now faces $4,200 in monthly housing obligations on a $97,000 income. After taxes and insurance, there is nothing left for essentials. Savings are depleted and credit card debt is the only thing keeping them afloat. Selling now would result in a $45,000 loss, plus $25,000 in closing fees. They are trapped in a cycle of financial erosion with no exit in sight. 3. Lakeland. Lakeland's strategic location between Tampa and Orlando once suggested immunity to market swings. Logistics hubs for Amazon and Publix pointed toward stability. Instead, the city is in the throes of a major correction. After pandemic-era gains of 50%, median prices that peaked at $360,000 have retreated to $315,000. This 10% drop has erased $45,000 in equity. The downturn is universal across all price points. Starter homes are down 11%, while higher-end properties struggle as buyers retreat to established suburbs. Inventory has doubled to 2,400 listings, pushing time on market to 95 days. Sellers have lost all leverage. For families earning $65,000, affordability is worsening even as prices fall. A home bought in 2023 with 5% down is now worth $20,000 less than the mortgage balance after fees. Owners are essentially paying a premium to lose wealth every month, unable to refinance or escape. Experts suggest it could take a decade to recover this lost value. Unlike 2008, there is no denial, only a frozen market, where buyers wait for lower prices and sellers wait for a rebound that isn't coming. 1. Miami-Dade Inland. In the inland reaches of Miami-Dade, Kendall, Hialeah, and Sweetwater, the American dream has become a nightmare. After pandemic surges pushed prices to $490,000, values corrected to $445,000. While a 7% drop sounds manageable, the compounding costs are lethal. Insurance has tripled, HOA fees have jumped 60%, and condo assessments are reaching $50,000. A family earning $122,000 now spends 59% of their take-home pay on housing. They're maxing out credit cards and working 100 combined hours weekly just to fall $700 short every month. The emotional toll is staggering. Teachers and public servants feel they have failed their children. Commutes now stretch to 90 minutes as workers flee to cheaper counties. With insurers abandoning zip codes and sea levels rising, Miami faces unique pressures. Selling means a $60,000 loss. Staying means financial ruin. Would you like me to generate a script for a follow-up video focusing specifically on the insurance crisis or the impact of new condo regulations in these areas?